Sometime in the last 12 hours, the President of the United States publicly ordered a foreign government to stop bombing another country. Not privately, not through diplomatic back channels, not through a State Department spokesman reading a carefully worded statement on social media in capital letters with an exclamation mark. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Let that land for a moment. The most powerful military patron in the history of the modern Middle East just told its closest ally, publicly in front of the entire world, that it is prohibited from conducting military operations it was conducting yesterday. That word, prohibited, not discouraged, not asked to pause, prohibited. This is not a peace announcement. This is a restructuring of power in the Middle East that the headlines are completely failing to explain. And today, we are going to go through it layer by layer, because what Trump posted this morning contains more strategic information than anything that has come out of Washington in the past 6 months. You just have to know how to read it. Once you see what is actually in this post, you cannot unsee it. Let me read you the full statement, because every sentence matters. The USA will get all nuclear dust, created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Thank you. President DJT. 4 things are happening simultaneously in this statement, and mainstream coverage is reporting maybe one of them. First, Trump is taking direct personal credit for the destruction of Iran's nuclear program. The USA will get all nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, the only aircraft in the American inventory capable of delivering the massive ordnance penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb designed specifically to destroy deeply buried hardened facilities. He is not being ambiguous. He is telling the world that American aircraft destroyed Iranian nuclear infrastructure and that the radioactive remnants now belong to the United States as a matter of strategic accounting. Second, he is explicitly decoupling the Iran nuclear deal from the Lebanon situation. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon. That sentence is a direct message to Tehran. Your nuclear capitulation does not buy Hezbollah protection. Those are 2 separate files, 2 separate negotiations, 2 separate outcomes. Third, he is removing Israel from the Lebanon equation entirely and substituting American authority. The USA will, separately, work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Read that carefully. Israel is not dealing with Hezbollah anymore. America is. That is a fundamental transfer of operational control over the most dangerous non-state military force in the Middle East, announced in a social media post. Fourth, he is signaling to his domestic political base that this is not the Obama-Iran deal. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. He is inoculating himself against the inevitable comparison before it is made. He knows what is coming. He is getting ahead of it. Now, let me tell you what the official narrative says, and what is actually happening. The official narrative: Trump brokered peace. Iran stood down. Israel is standing down. The crisis is over. Markets can relax. What is actually happening? The United States has just assumed direct responsibility for the Hezbollah problem in Lebanon. Think about what that means in practice. Hezbollah has an estimated 150,000 rockets and missiles. Hezbollah controls the southern suburbs of Beirut, significant portions of the Bekaa Valley, and the entire southern border region. Hezbollah has more precision-guided munitions than most NATO members. And Hezbollah's Secretary General stated publicly this week that its military infrastructure is non-negotiable. When Trump says America will deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. What is the appropriate manner? Diplomacy? Hezbollah does not negotiate its weapons. Sanctions? They are already sanctioned into the bedrock. Military action? That means American forces in direct confrontation with a 150,000 rocket army backed by Iran, embedded in a civilian population, in a country that has broken every ceasefire in living memory. This is not a peace deal. This is America stepping into the ring that Israel just stepped out of. And the American public has no idea it just happened. Let me give you the cost math, because the asymmetry here is staggering and nobody is putting numbers to it. Israel has been conducting air operations against Hezbollah positions in Lebanon for months. The Israeli Air Force, operating from bases inside Israel, can hit targets in Lebanon in minutes. The cost per sortie, the risk profile, the logistics chain, all of it optimized for this exact geography over decades of operational experience. Now, substitute American forces. American carrier strike groups operating in the eastern Mediterranean are approximately 600 miles from Beirut. American land forces in the region are structured for deterrence, not sustained counterinsurgency. The last time American forces were directly engaged in Lebanon was 1983, the Beirut barracks bombing that killed 241 United States Marines in a single attack. That single event ended American military presence in Lebanon and shaped U.S. Middle East policy for the next 2 decades. Hezbollah remembers 1983. Iran remembers 1983. The question is whether Washington does. Here is the reframe that changes how you understand this entire situation. What Trump says he is doing: ending the war, prohibiting further bombing, bringing peace. What Trump is actually doing: replacing Israeli military leverage over Lebanon with American diplomatic and potentially military leverage. At a moment when America is simultaneously managing a nuclear deal with Iran, a naval standoff in the Strait of Hormuz, and the most complex Middle East realignment in 50 years. The structural reality is this. For the past several decades, America's approach to Hezbollah has been to let Israel handle it. Israel had the proximity, the intelligence networks, the political will, and the operational experience. That arrangement, imperfect as it was, kept American forces out of direct contact with the most battle-hardened non-state military force on Earth. Trump just ended that arrangement in a post this morning. This is not just a country changing a policy. This is a civilization, the American empire at the peak of its Middle East intervention, making a commitment it does not yet understand the full weight of. The Romans made similar commitments in Mesopotamia. They fought there for 300 years. The Byzantines inherited the problem and fought it for 300 more. History does not announce itself, but it does repeat. Now I want to address the question I know many of you are asking, because intellectual honesty demands it. Is it possible that Trump knows exactly what he is doing? Is it possible that this is a controlled, strategic, well-planned sequence? The B-2 strikes, buying maximum Iranian concessions, the Lebanon prohibition buying time for a genuine political settlement, the Hezbollah language serving as a bluff to create negotiating space? Yes, it is possible. Trump has surprised analysts before. The Abraham Accords were called impossible. The maximum pressure campaign on Iran produced results that skeptics said would never come. I might be wrong about the fragility of this, but here is the logic that keeps me cautious. A bluff only works if the other side believes you will follow through. Hezbollah does not believe America will follow through on direct military action in Lebanon, because the historical record says it won't. Iran does not believe the Hezbollah situation can be resolved diplomatically, because they have watched every attempt fail for 40 years. And the Lebanese government does not have the power to disarm Hezbollah even if it wanted to, because Hezbollah is the Lebanese government in every way that matters militarily. What to watch? Watch whether American special envoys actually arrive in Beirut with a concrete disarmament framework in the next 72 hours. Watch whether Hezbollah issues any statement that contains even implicit flexibility on its military posture. Watch whether Israel publicly accepts being prohibited. because an Israeli government that accepts American prohibition is a very different strategic actor than the one that has existed for the past 30 years. Until you see those signals, this announcement is a declaration of intent, facing a reality that has defeated every previous declaration of intent. What happened today is bigger than a ceasefire, bigger than an oil price move, bigger than a stock market rally. The United States publicly assumed ownership of the Hezbollah problem, the most complex, most deeply embedded, most militarily capable non-state challenge in the modern Middle East. That assumption of ownership will have consequences that play out over months and years, not hours. The people around you are reading the headline, "Trump prohibits Israel from bombing Lebanon," and hearing peace. They are missing the weight of what comes next. Share this, not for the algorithm. Share it because the next chapter of this story will arrive faster than anyone in the mainstream is prepared for. And when it does, you will want to have understood today correctly. We will be here for every move.